What if everything we've been taught about Christmas, the birth of Jesus, the decorations, the gifts, wasn't the full story? What if, hidden beneath centuries of tradition, Christmas was built upon far older customs, rituals, and myths, none of which have anything to do with a manger or shepherds in a field? As we approach the holiday season, we see Christmas trees everywhere, hear carols filling the air, and feel the rush of gift-giving taking over the world. But few of us stop to ask, where did these traditions really come from? If you peel back the layers of what Christmas is today, you'll find something much older, something with deep connections to ancient pagan rituals, solar worship, and seasonal cycles that long predate the Christian narrative. The more you dig, the more it becomes clear. Christmas as we know it is not just a Christian holiday. It is a fusion of beliefs, practices, and rituals from civilizations around the world. The story of Jesus' birth is at its core, yes, but what about the date of December 25th? Why is it so significant? Why does it align so perfectly with older winter solstice celebrations that have nothing to do with Christianity? And if Christmas was built on these pre-existing traditions, does that change the way we view its meaning today? Could it be that Christmas, this deeply ingrained holiday, isn't just a celebration of Christ's birth, but a rebranding of much older celebrations tied to the very cycles of the sun and earth? Could the commercialization and secularization of Christmas be just another chapter in a much older story that we've long forgotten? If you're curious about how Saturnalia, Yule, and other ancient customs bled into the Christmas traditions we hold so dear, you're not alone. There's a whole history waiting to be uncovered. And as we explore this tangled web of beliefs, customs, and power plays through time, I invite you to reflect on something crucial. What if Christmas is much more than just a holiday? What if it's a reflection of the very forces that have shaped human civilization for thousands of years? Welcome to Celestial Chronicles, where we dive deep into the mysteries of history. Stick with us as we uncover the forgotten origins of Christmas and reveal the secrets buried within the holiday you thought you knew so well. This is just the beginning of a much bigger story. The Bible and the birth of Jesus. The story of Christmas centers around the birth of Jesus Christ, but the details in the Bible are not as clear as we might think. The Gospels of Matthew and Luke are the main sources for the nativity story, but when we look closely, we find some surprising gaps and contradictions. For example, while we all know the story of Mary and Joseph traveling to Bethlehem, there's no mention in the Bible of the exact date of Jesus' birth. In fact, the Bible doesn't even say that Jesus was born in winter, as we often assume. In the Gospel of Luke, it mentions that there were shepherds in the fields when Jesus was born, which suggests a warmer season, not the cold of December. The Bible never actually says that Jesus was born on December 25th. So why was this date chosen? Some historians believe it was picked to align with earlier pagan festivals celebrating the winter solstice, like the Roman festival of Saturnalia. This was a time of celebration when the days began to get longer and people marked the rebirth of the sun. By choosing this date, early Christians may have been trying to make it easier for people to accept Christianity by blending it with existing customs. Another interesting detail is that the nativity story itself shares similarities with older myths from other cultures. For example, many ancient civilizations have stories about divine births marked by a bright star or special signs in the sky. The idea of a virgin birth, a savior coming to earth, and a star guiding the way can also be found in various myths from around the world. So, while Christmas is deeply tied to the birth of Jesus in Christian tradition, the story we celebrate today is a mix of biblical narrative and older myths. Was the birth of Jesus really meant to be celebrated on December 25th, or was that just a way to make the holiday fit into the rhythms of the ancient world? What do you think about the true origins of Christmas? Do you believe the date was chosen for a deeper reason, or was it just a coincidence? Share your thoughts below, and let's discuss. Pagan origins, Saturnalia and the solstice. The Christmas we celebrate today is full of familiar traditions, but many of them have roots in ancient pagan festivals. One of the biggest influences is Saturnalia, an ancient Roman holiday that took place in mid-December. Saturnalia was a festival honoring the god Saturn, and it was a time of feasting, merrymaking, and gift-giving. It was celebrated with great enthusiasm and was one of the most important festivals in ancient Rome. What makes Saturnalia so interesting is how much it shares with our modern Christmas customs. People would decorate their homes with greenery, exchange gifts, and throw big feasts. The idea of celebrating with family, giving presents, and bringing light into the darkest part of the year comes from Saturnalia. The holiday was connected to the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year, when people celebrated the return of longer days and the rebirth of the sun. This connection to the solstice is crucial because many ancient cultures, not just the Romans, believed that the sun's return marked the start of something new, a time of renewal and hope. The timing of Christmas on December 25th is not a coincidence. In fact, it is believed that early Christians chose this date to replace Saturnalia and make it easier for Romans to accept Christianity. By aligning the birth of Jesus with an existing celebration, they helped spread the new faith while still honoring old traditions. While the specific details of Saturnalia may be lost to history, its influence on Christmas is clear. The gift-giving, the feasting, the focus on light, and the general spirit of joy during the darkest time of the year all come from this ancient festival. So how much of Christmas is truly Christian, and how much of it comes from older pagan customs? Do you think it's possible that Christmas was designed to incorporate Saturnalia's themes? Let me know what you think in the comments, and let's talk about the real origins of the holiday. Yule and the winter solstice. Birth of the modern Christmas tree. One of the most iconic symbols of Christmas is the Christmas tree. But the tradition of decorating trees during the winter season actually goes back to ancient pagan customs, especially in Northern Europe. The celebration known as Yule, which was held around the time of the winter solstice, played a big role in shaping what we now call Christmas. Yule was a festival celebrated by ancient Germanic and Norse people. It marked the rebirth of the sun, as the winter solstice represented the longest night and the start of longer days. During Yule, people would decorate their homes with evergreens like holly, ivy, and fir trees. These plants were seen as symbols of life and renewal, which was especially important during the cold, dark months of winter. The tradition of the Yule tree, which was often decorated with candles, apples, and other offerings, is the precursor to the modern Christmas tree. The practice of bringing evergreens into the home during the winter solstice was not just about decoration. It was believed that these plants had magical properties, helping to ward off evil spirits and bring protection and good fortune for the coming year. The Yule log, another tradition linked to this time, was a large piece of wood that would be burned throughout the night, symbolizing warmth and the return of the sun. As Christmas became more widely celebrated, especially in the 16th century, the Yule tree tradition spread across Europe. By the 19th century, Christmas trees had become a central part of the holiday in many countries, especially after Queen Victoria of England and her German husband, Prince Albert, popularized the custom of decorating trees in royal circles. Today, the Christmas tree is one of the most beloved traditions of the holiday, but its roots in Yule remind us that Christmas is not just a Christian holiday. It's a blend of ancient beliefs, cultures, and rituals. The tree, the lights, and the focus on renewal all connect to the ancient celebrations of the winter solstice. What do you think about the origins of the Christmas tree? Is it a symbol of Christian tradition, or does it reflect older pre-Christian beliefs? Share your thoughts below, and let's dive deeper into the rich history behind this timeless holiday custom. Santa Claus, a mythological figure with global roots. When we think of Christmas, one of the first things that comes to mind is Santa Claus. The jolly man in a red suit, with his white beard, reindeer, and sleigh, has become an enduring symbol of the holiday. But where did this character come from? Is Santa Claus simply a product of modern imagination, or does his story have much deeper, older roots that span across different cultures and time periods? The modern image of Santa Claus can be traced back to Saint Nicholas, a 4th century bishop from Myra, modern-day Turkey. Known for his generosity, Nicholas became famous for secretly giving gifts to the poor. Over time, his legend grew, especially in Europe, and he became the patron saint of children. In many places, people celebrated St. Nicholas's Day on December 6th, when children would leave their shoes out to receive small gifts or treats. But Santa Claus, as we know him today, didn't emerge from St. Nicholas alone. His modern form is a mix of different traditions, myths, and cultures. One important influence comes from the Dutch tradition of Sinterklaas, a gift bringer who is said to arrive by boat and ride a white horse. When Dutch settlers came to America in the 18th century, they brought this figure with them, and over time, Sinterklaas merged with other folk traditions to become the Santa Claus we recognize today. Santa's reindeer and sleigh are also connected to older myths, especially from Norse and Scandinavian traditions. In ancient Norse mythology, the god Odin was said to ride through the sky on an 8-legged horse named Sleipnir during the winter months. People would leave out food for Odin's horse in hopes of receiving gifts. This idea of a flying figure giving gifts became another key part of the Santa Claus legend. Interestingly, Santa's appearance and personality were also shaped by 19th-century writers and artists. In 1823, the poem A Visit from St. Nicholas, commonly known as The Night Before Christmas, described Santa as a plump, jolly man with a sleigh pulled by reindeer, and this image was further popularized by Coca-Cola's advertisements in the 1930s. The Santa we know today, with his red suit, black boots, and cheerful demeanor, was firmly cemented in popular culture. Santa Claus has become a figure that spans many cultures and is celebrated in various forms around the world. But when you trace his origins, it's clear that he is not just a simple figure for holiday fun. He's a complex blend of religious figures, mythological beings, and cultural symbols that have evolved over centuries. What do you think about Santa Claus? Is he a symbol of Christmas magic, or is he a product of centuries of mixed traditions? Let me know in the comments, and let's explore how Santa's many faces reflect the diverse history of Christmas. The commercialization of Christmas, a global holiday industry. Over the last few centuries, Christmas has transformed from a religious and cultural celebration into one of the most commercialized holidays in the world. Today, the holiday season is marked not just by family gatherings and religious observances, but by shopping sprees, advertisements, and massive retail sales. But how did Christmas become such a huge commercial event? The shift toward a more commercialized Christmas began in the 19th century, especially in Western countries. As cities grew and industrialization took hold, Christmas became more of a family-centered holiday, and people started looking for ways to make it special. This period saw the rise of Christmas cards, gifts, and elaborate decorations, things that were not as prominent in earlier traditions. As the middle class grew, so did the demand for goods, and stores quickly recognized Christmas as a prime opportunity for sales. In fact, one of the first major marketing campaigns tied to Christmas was run by the Macy's department store in New York, which began hosting a Christmas parade and decorating its store to attract customers. By the 20th century, with the rise of consumer culture and mass advertising, Christmas had evolved into a global shopping season. Companies began associating Christmas with a time of buying gifts, whether it was for family, friends, or even coworkers. The media played a huge role in shaping Christmas as a commercial holiday. Christmas ads, especially those featuring Santa Claus, became iconic in their own right, thanks to companies like Coca-Cola, who used Santa to sell everything from soda to clothing. The modern-day Christmas shopping frenzy, including Black Friday and Cyber Monday, reflects how deeply intertwined consumerism has become with the holiday. What was once a time of giving and spiritual reflection has now become a period of buying and accumulating. This shift has led to some criticism, with many questioning if the true spirit of Christmas has been lost amid the hustle and bustle of commercialism. Yet, despite all the consumer-driven changes, Christmas still holds a special place in people's hearts around the world. It remains a time for family, generosity, and celebration, even if these values are sometimes overshadowed by the pressure to buy the latest gadgets or fashion. The commercialization of Christmas is a double-edged sword. It has brought both joy and excess, tradition and materialism. So, how do you feel about the commercialization of Christmas? Do you think it's taken away from the holiday's true meaning, or has it simply become part of the way we celebrate today? Let's talk about it in the comments and continue exploring how Christmas has evolved over the years.